All right. Well, I think we managed to make that work out just fine. Hello and welcome to Monday night live stream, where we're going to be playing some games. My name's Mike, and this is the Roll Wise podcast live stream stuff. And apparently, because we're unscripted, I totally forgot what I was supposed to say when I went live. So if that was a just jumble of words, it's out.
It wasn't. You did fine.
That was a jumble.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Welcome to the Roll Wise live stream on Mondays. We're here to play Distal as we go through our Age of Worms campaign. I think that's probably what I should have. Something along those lines. I should have.
That was the intent, anyways.
Hopefully it.
But hey, you got there in the end. That's all that really matters.
It's true. It's true. Well, it looks like we've got Ageofworms in the comments saying, glad we're taking on Distal tonight. We are too. We're going to try it out, see if, how exactly a merciless fantasy game plays as we switch from DC-20, which I don't feel like DC-20 was necessarily merciless. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a change of flavor going between the systems and everything like that. Let's see here. So well, what I can say though is probably with DC-20 going on Kickstarter in a couple of weeks, we'll probably give this a try for a couple of weeks as well, and then we might go back to DC-20 just during the Kickstarter period, just so that if there's any other updates, because I think he was going to do another update beforehand. I don't recall. I'm trying to keep my threads not crossed there. But yeah, so I think we might go back and try that one again. And then I think we have a few more that we're going to look at. Obviously there's a lot of good DC or, D20 type systems out there that we really want to put through the paces, as long as I don't kill the two players before then.
And there we go. That's the part. That's the important part, is we're not sure that's going to happen or not.
There is a chance. And so those people that were here for our last session, we actually ended on a cliffhanger. Jeff rolled a successful perception check, found the cliffhanger, and so we kind of stopped from there. So who knows?
I forgot. Jeff discovered a cliffhanger. I forgot that's what it came.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be good. Honestly, I'm really liking how the game's shaping up. It's very active, and we actually have to thank hopefully somebody. Do you remember there was a comment that somebody had given us some advice on something that Brent could have been doing to make his character more insanely badass, and that was use some of his stamina points to kind of replace his techniques. So thank you. This is going out to the commenters. Thank you for the commenters to kind of look and give us some ideas as to what what are the other ways that we can kind of improve our game, because obviously we're learning these things on the fly a little bit, because you're kind of average table, one could say, but we enjoy it.
Yeah, so. we take suggestions. We appreciate people pointing out stuff like, hey, I think maybe you missed this, because sometimes we do.
Yeah, that was perfect. And apparently their name was Park. Thank you, Monk, for knowing who comments on our video.
Perfect. So yeah, tonight we're going to be doing Distal. I think what probably would be a good idea is that if people didn't have a chance to see the character creation process, I think it probably wouldn't hurt before we get to Jeff's cliffhanger to explain how the characters were made really quickly, who the characters are now, how where their strengths and stuff like that are, just a little bit, so that we can advise people how the characters change just ever so slightly between obviously DC-20 and Distal. Jeff, do you want to go first and let people know how your characters are updated?
Yeah. I am still playing Zevrock's Thunderspring, but in the Distal universe, my lineage is Tanglefolk, and my class is I'm a Magister, so I'm still a more diminutive race, and I am playing what I thought was the most straight caster class in Distal.
Yeah. Yep. I think according to Rel, that was, I mean, not to say that there was a 1-for-1
Right. Yeah.
over.
Yeah. It's
That
not always
seemed
going to
to
be one
be-
for one. But that's
Yeah,
what
that
I
was
showed.
the closest, I think.
Yeah.
And my character is still a dwarf, which is good. His background changed quite a bit from where he was in the other thing, so some of his skills have been affected. But he is a strategist instead of just a regular fighter, which is the closest to the hit point tanky sort of fighter that I was in DC 20. Other than that, he's pretty much the same, I think.
Okay.
As in axe, shield, hit things.
Gotcha. Now the that's probably very true.
That is
And
probably
especially
correct.
and you know and one of the things that I would say that Distal is going to be it's going to feel a little bit different where I felt the DC 20 because the names and things like that were similar enough to the what people were used to with Dungeons and Dragons. Like it felt like there was like you could say the same things and get a kind of the same reaction out of people, whereas in Distal, at least starting with because Rel has done his best to kind of create his own setting and world and everything like that, it's going to change a little bit when you put it over into something like Greyhawk, because obviously he's tried to craft his own stuff. Now I don't know if I haven't did Alan say he was going to put together his own world for his own setting or something like that or anything?
Say that
Yes.
again. I missed
Did
it.
Dungeon Coach say he was going to do his own setting with DC 20? I don't think I recall hearing
I
about that.
don't.
Oh, he
yeah.
is. Okay, perfect.
I was gonna say Monk probably knows.
Yeah.
the answer to
Agile
that
Monk
more
knows
than
more.
I do.
Yeah.
He's up
Yeah.
on this.
He's got
so
him on
thank
speed
you.
dial.
Uh,
Oh, he's going to be doing multiple. Nice.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's going to be a big difference between Distal and some of these other settings is like Distal is made to play in the Distal universe and the kind of the Distal setting. So I think some of the mechanics and stuff are going to play to that, but that's what we're here for, is to kind of see.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Nice.
well, actually, you have to let us know when you've got some stuff, and we'd be happy to preview it if you're willing to share. So, all right. So, do you think that there should be like a more of an overview other than the classes? Do you like your additional abilities that you have? Because I'm curious if that wouldn't be interesting to people that didn't take a look at the Distal rulebook yet.
I don't think I have very many abilities as a fighter, right? I'm pretty much just a standard fighter.
That's true. We're pretty standard. you're pretty much a cookie cutter fighter.
And Jeff has spells, so
yeah, I've got spells. I mean, we've got
your spells are a little different, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have a whole lot as the strategist.
Well, I think so. Basically, what I would say is that some things that you're going to find with the game is that first of all, starting health is going to be it's going to have a lot of buffer so far. Then of course you have a willpower die, which will come in effect when you guys get into combat and all of those kind of things. You guys will have additional abilities as determined by your lineage. For example, like Brent as the dwarf has unburdened by armor, so he's not really affected by things like heavy armors and stuff that have those additional movement penalties, or at least 5 feet of movement penalties. Whereas Jeff's character has hypermetabolism. I do like that you're going to eat that. So
yeah, my lineage ability, my natural regeneration increases to 2 per round.
Mm-hmm.
So I apparently consume a lot of food.
Yeah. So the one thing Jeff does have going with him is he does have some ability to at least regenerate should he get into a little bit of trouble, which obviously looking at the cliffhanger ahead, he might. And we'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we get to death marks today. So we'll see if that gets any more explanation in this first part of the play.
it might. We split the party, and I'm in the scary place. So
I just like that you discovered a cliffhanger. I think that was my favorite one of my favorite moments so far.
So,
and you discover a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I mean, really, more sessions should be able to like roll for cliffhanger. Otherwise, they just keep going forever. Okay, so I guess, are you guys ready to find out exactly what kind of cliffhanger You
Yeah.
see?
Let's do it.
Let's see how.
Okay.
Let's see how my as I stare death in the face, how my character responds.
Uh, that's a good question. So just to kind of recap a little bit as to how you arrived at the position you did, is that you guys found an elevator that took you down into a subterranean level. In that level, there was a slab blocking a passageway. Now, using some magic from a different system, you were able to bypass that slab because you could actually see to the other side, and you were able to misty step over and basically go into another passageway. The passageway itself had carvings. It had basically some carvings and everything like that that represented things like stirring tempests and other wind themed artistry. But at 10-foot intervals, you had small alcoves that flanked the passage, and within each of the alcoves contained an androgynous humanoid figure with cupped hands. What you had kind of seen towards the end of that is you'd kind of seen a little bit of a reflection coming off of your torch, almost like there was a little bit of frost at the end of the passageway. And the cliffhanger that you had seen is as you were going down the passageway, kind of with did you have the lantern or the torch?
I had the lantern.
And the lantern. As you were kind of showing your lantern and you're kind of like looking up at these androgynous figures, what you saw that was kind of a surprise to you, maybe not to it, was you saw what looked to be an amber colored, like that, an amber eye that was wrapped around, almost coiled around the neck of one of the statues, kind of staring at you. Attached to the eye was not a body, but really kind of a sinewy looking muscle that was very mucousy that leaves almost like a little bit of slime on the neck. It kind of, as soon as you show it, your light up in that direction, the eye kind of dilates and you can see that it unwinds itself kind of quickly, but almost strangely floating up in the air. Now, this is the time that this cliffhanger is going to be that. How do we determine who goes first?
It's the Distal's got the aggressor and the defender system, right?
Yep. So in this case, in the terms of combat and everything like that, you determine who has initiative. So the events leading up to the encounter tend to convey who has the aggressor and who's the responder. Now, with what Rel has put together here is that, if there's a chance for you to kind of see who goes first, you could initially be the aggressor because you could have prepared something, or it could be the aggressor because it saw your light and was obviously waiting for you. If it's unclear though, then there is a way to kind of like basically roll off to see who would go first. However, I'm going to, because of the type of creature this is, I'm going to believe it's going to be the aggressor.
I would believe that because I'm definitely not an attack everything on sight kind of character, so I probably would have tried to get a look at it and hesitated for a second. So yeah, if it's going to be aggressive, it's going to be aggressive.
Yes. So as you see this like thing, and it's the weirdness is almost like the ethereal nature in which it's like winding through the air. It doesn't look as though it's flying because it doesn't have any wings, but it looks as though it's propelling itself, almost like it's swimming. But that's neither here nor there. The first thing that you're going to have is we're going to roll, and the difference between Distal and some other games is it actually uses a behaviors type system for the creatures, and so the creature is going to roll against a behavior set that they have, and that's what it's going to do. So, are you ready to see what happens to you, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm a little creeped out.
Because we just
Are you ready to see what happens to you? Oh boy.
Well,
that's a good way to put that. Are you ready to see what bad things are about to occur?
Hey man, it's your choice. I can frame it however you'd like. Okay. So Ooh. Ooh, that's fun. 1 second.
That definitely means it's not fun. I can do Mike's shorthand.
Definitely. That is exactly what that means.
Okay.
Apparently, it gets its thing where it gets to do 6 attacks and give me 4 status effects.
Hold person, paralyze and hold person.
Okay. Well, regrettably, I mean, so basically what you see happens is as the thing floats at you, you see it kind of look at you and its eye shimmers. And you can tell that something happens because there's almost like this wave of arcane energy that passes towards you.
Oh no, it's just disintegrate. Good luck, Jeff.
And basically what you see is that it looks as though it wasn't looking close enough toward you because you feel it kind of wash near you, like you almost feel like the air around you like almost energized with some sort of static electricity, but nothing happens. Dun, dun, dun.
Nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a time traveling disintegration ray. In about 10 minutes, you're gonna.
It feels like I'm just getting, painted by the laser sight right now.
Okay.
And the missile's been launched from somewhere else.
Maybe. But so one thing that I would like to point out as well is that in the game there's actually the ability, so you can do player checks for information and all those kind of things as well. So you can roll for information on monsters if my description of the monster has not triggered any sort of memory of your days in 3.5 or anything like that. Not to say that you should metagame, but if it doesn't trigger anything up
I'm not trying to metagame. I do think do you think Beast or Arcana would be more appropriate? Beast.
In this case, Arcana would be more appropriate.
Okay.
So yeah. So now in this case, I believe that would turn over to your turn. So you gained your willpower dice. So make sure you have. I am the aggressing team, and you are now.
Okay.
And so I took my turn. Now
I want to see
responding turn.
Yeah, I want to see if I can know anything about this creature before I attack. Or wait, now, I only get one. I only get one action, but is
correct.
Doing the check, is that an action or is that one of the other?
Ooh, that's a good
because
question.
there are several parts of the turn. There's shaken effect, technique.
Yeah, so
that's swapping weapons.
Now, based on, so it actually doesn't say in the player checks for information, is because it says a player can attempt to skill check once on their turn to glean information about the monster's capability. The DC for this check should be 10 plus the monster's challenge bonus. The character uses perception and adds a tag to knowledge bonus. And so that 10 plus challenge plus whatever knowledge. But it doesn't say if it's actually part of these. So in terms of like what that would be here, would it be an entire action? To cast spells, use abilities, make weapon, and hide attack.
Yeah. Friendly Henry says it sounds like it's a freebie to him.
Yeah, I mean,
to them. Sorry.
I think without it being specifically called out, I think you looking at it shouldn't take your full action. So I'm going to say that it's going to, let's put that under the technique category, because you have one technique is used for smaller efforts like swapping weapons, commanding companions, or casting.
I got a 17.
Oh, wow. Okay. So as a reward for this, what would you like to know? Would you like to know what it is, what its resistances are, or maybe behaviors?
Right now, I'd kind of like to know what its resistance. Well, behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Let's know what its behaviors are.
Okay, so because you study with a fairly famed mage named Aliston, you have access to a bunch of tomes that allow you to see various monsters and stuff like that. You do recall in one of your tomes that that there was a gruesome aberration that is known as a lurking strangler. And basically, the lurking strangler is they work on behalf of people. They're intelligent monsters, but they basically are two eyeballs that are connected via sinuous muscle. And the eyes and the behavior that you have to be careful of is that they tend to shoot eye rays, meaning that the rays themselves can either cause you to become terrified, or they can knock you out entirely,
Or do nothing, apparently.
or miss. They can also miss. There's always a chance, when you point that wand at something, there's always a chance you miss.
Ouch.
It just effectively just threw glitter at you and said, "That's what I got."
And you can probably infer that without the eye rays, it probably has some sort of thing that it does with its body, but
probably. Is there anything metal in the room? Say within, I don't know, 30 feet of me?
Anything metal within 30 feet of you? Ooh, that's a good question. Boom. Yeah, I'll say that there are sconces on the walls where at one point torches may have been held. And these are basically just, kind of bolted to the walls.
All right. I am going to try and do lightning link. I guess I could just do it at the creature. There's only one creature. I don't know if I have to do it at the sconce. Target one creature or a loose metal object. Yeah, I'm just going to target the creature.
Okay.
I don't have to. Well, wait. You know what?
Well, just really thinking.
The sconce has a defensive 8.
How can I target Brent's character with this too?
You're too far away for me to ricochet it off of you. This isn't a Thunderwave situation, sir. Hey, Brent, you're standing in the way again. I really want to use Thunderwave. That really happened, I think, 3 times in one combat.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play casters that often, so it's sort of memorable when I fuck somebody up.
So on a successful hit against either target, both receive 2d6 lightning damage. So if you wanted to use it, you could basically choose a sconce because it's obvious.
Yeah, let me choose the sconce because I think my guess is the sconce's defense is lower.
8.
I don't know what the monster's defense is. So
yeah.
What if any bonus do I get?
So your spellcast check is going to be your d20 plus your spellcast proficiency. So in this case, you'd have a 1. It doesn't say which school that you use it under. Now, it does become important later if you ever get your proficiencies higher because you can choose to cast your spells under a specific school depending on which schools it's aligned with.
Hey, I rolled a nat 20. So 21 is the total.
You destroyed that sconce. Anything else?
Then it ricochets. It hits the sconce and then shoots directly.
Oh man,
the lurking strangler.
So when you're fighting sconces, I need to see your guys' dice. Is this in?
You melted the shit out of that sconce. Good job.
Yeah, you can see it. It's in the Rollwise Discord. It's in the dice roller.
I don't know. This is. Damn it. Your dice rolls are way too good for this group.
We're using Avray.
I haven't had to roll dice in a while. Sorry.
Okay, so with a critical hit in Distal, now you basically do get to double your damage dice. And so, the fact that you guys can actually...
So I can just multiply it times 2. I can just do the 2d6 and then...
Well, I think...
Or do I do 4d6?
Well, so you'd actually do 46. Okay. So when dealing a critical strike, roll the weapons, effects that provided... Yeah.
And there's not damage modifiers in this game, right?
There can be. There are things that can cause.
There can, but I don't believe I have any at first level. Okay, that's fair. I'm just asking. So I will roll 46, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So that's 15.
Okay, 15 points of damage. Oh man. Let's see.
Hit the sconce. Hit this lurking strangler that I've never seen before, but is scaring the poop out of me right now.
Oh, they do look pretty gross.
They do.
The description sounded gross as hell, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's disappointing. So
Disappointing for who?
well, for me, obviously.
That's what I thought.
So what happens is as you look, you see the thing, it looks like it shoots some sort of ray from its eye, obviously, at you. You quick-wittedly see that it's right next to one of the sconces. Taking your wand out, because that's how you typically cast, right?
I can use the wand or the sickle. The sickle counts as a focus too.
Okay, so you basically draw an intricate pattern and boom, shoot a lightning bolt. Hits the sconce, bounces off into the sinewy muscle. And you guys, it's really strange because the eyeballs basically, they're kind of, they look like they're floating and they're kind of twisted, like almost like how a snake would be twisted as as it's sitting on the ground, kind of chilling. But suddenly, after getting jolted like that, it's like the entire thing tensed up. And even though the eyes don't have eyelids, you can see that eyes got dilated and all that stuff, and it just turned into a long bat, like a baton or something like that, just straightened out before kind of constricting back on itself and slowly falling towards the ground.
Wow. So does that mean it is deceased or it's just injured?
It's not sure. So let's go to Brent's turn. Brent, you hear like you hear all of a sudden the zap of electricity on the other side of the slab, kind of the echoing through the chamber. What do you do?
Yo, is everything all right over there?
Yeah, you would have heard a scream when it came out of the darkness, and then the zap.
Yeah, which is why I asked, is everything all right over there?
I don't know. I think I heard it.
I
I think it's damaged. 2 eyeballs connected by a sinewy piece of muscle.
Gross.
I think it's a lurking strangler, if I'm remembering correctly. It's uglier than it sounds.
Man, I had so many more behaviors to show you too. Oh.
Well, yeah, I don't get to learn, so the next time I see one here in 3 minutes, I won't have that much more information.
Jeez.
I'm gonna go over and poke it with my sickle.
Okay. So you take your sickle and just stab it in the eye? Like how do you poke it with the sickle?
It's kind of, you kind of jab it in the side to see if it responds.
It does have a slight response, but more like how when a dead fish responds when the knife goes into it. That's more how it responds than an actual like reaction to you.
I'm gonna hold up the lantern and kind of scan around the room to see if I can see any other glowing eyeballs.
Or the rest of the body.
So that is correct.
Oh, that is horrible news, Agile Monk. That is terrible news. I do not want to encounter a beholder at level 1.
So the thing is I did choose to make this a fragile assassin. That was the moniker I gave it. I think I probably should have chose regular assassin. Points.
Well, now you know for next time.
Yeah. Or maybe
and now there's another lurking strang that comes out.
As you're poking the dead one, 2 more attack you from behind.
It's about balance. I'd rather have you guys kill stuff on accident too easily and me learn than be like, oh, I just made this encounter and then like steamroll you
And a
because
pair of hands bounce out of the darkness.
I yell over my shoulder. Did you figure out how to get that stone slab moved? Aren't you dwarves good with stonework?
You were looking for the catch on the other side. That was why we sent you over there.
Yeah. All right. Did I see anything when I was scanning?
yeah. So moving forward, so basically where you are is as because this was the last set of like statues that you saw this lurking
Okay.
strangler on, and it was actually it was actually to your right. Now, the one thing that's important to note is that you do kind of see a little bit of like I don't want to say like um oh, that's not the right word.
What is there, a
here.
rave down here? Is it
Yeah.
fog machine?
No. But what you do see is so basically as it goes forward, it looks like
Okay.
it opens up to the right and left. To the right, it looks like, like almost like there's a morning dew or something like that that would be like on the stone and all of those kind of things. And based on your lantern, you think you can see something on the ground in that direction. Looking back, though, towards the end of the hallway, you do see something that could pass as maybe a switch, um, but you're just not sure because it does look as though the same type of glyphs and runes around it um, are set in place. So,
I will move towards the thing that looks like a switch
okay.
to try to see if I can find a way so that our party can be less split.
Okay. So with your character, if you would like, why don't you go ahead and roll for me a Magework Arcana.
So Magework and Arcana?
Because this is a skill plus knowledge.
This is a skill plus knowledge. Okay.
Yeah. Because your Arcana could help you with this.
Yeah, I get a +3 then. I get a 1 for Magework and 2 for Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
Just to let people know what is on my sheet. I think that encounter rattled me a bit. That is a 5. That is a 2 + 3.
Yep. Looks like glyphs to you.
Couldn't last forever.
Based on the types of glyphs that they are, you're not seeing any type of obvious activation pattern or anything like that to it. So you do, obviously you can see the torchlight of your companion coming through the small opening at the top of the slab behind you, but you're not seeing a way that you can easily activate this.
I think I found a switch. I yell, but I can't figure out how to do it. These glyphs don't mean anything to me.
Okay, well, I'll wait here then.
Don't you have a tiny little rock hammer? Can you Andy Dufresne that slab?
Yeah, I'll start working on this side.
So, I mean, there are ways that you could maneuver yourself. I mean, that the gap isn't huge between the top and the slab. So, I mean, obviously, trying to squeeze through there would be kind of hard, but you could always try.
I could try, but I don't know that we could ever get him in here.
Well, he's telling me that you already squeezed through.
Yeah, you're already stuck in your new home. So
I don't think I can. I don't think with the armor and stuff that I can squeeze through.
Okay.
So just sorry, out of character. Is that okay for a second? Like, I don't like getting into loops where it's like it's totally okay if that was my check and I failed it and I can't ever do another one. But I don't want to get into a loop of just doing checks until I figure it out, because that feels.
Because last time we played, I looked. There's no sort of catch on this side. We already looked at that, right?
That is correct.
We did, yeah.
You saw that there's probably a way for this stone slab to come up and down, but there wasn't a lever that you could see or anything like that. Now, like I said, there is a chance that you could try to squeeze your way through. I mean, it isn't the widest thing, but obviously a stout dwarf would have a harder time squeezing. I always feel like that would be like more one of those situations where you're like going through the cave tunnels and you're like shimmying through to see if you can get through, or you could try to remove your armor and see if that allowed you to go through. Otherwise, you could.
Well, I'm in hide armor now, so it's like it's
yeah,
not metal armor. Even I could try and go through, but
sure.
Like, I guess if I try and squeeze through, I'm purely mitigating at this point because I'm assuming you're not going to get me stuck and kill me. But because otherwise my character wouldn't probably.
That's where their nest is, Brent. It's at the top of the slab.
The nest of the lurkers?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be metagaming. Like, honestly, like if you wanted to try to get up there and attempt to go through using either strength to force your way through or dex to like
So what so what happens if I fail? I'm stuck there, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people would get to the point where they just get stuck.
Actually, that's not true. That happens a lot.
Oh, okay. So, Brett, I don't know. You'd have to roll the dice to find out.
Yeah, so if there's a chance that I'm going to get stuck in there and die, I'm not going to squeeze through.
Or, okay. I was going to say you could roll an engineering check.
Oh, like I have that.
Oh, somebody has engineering.
Yeah, I've got engineering. I mean, it gives me a +1.
I try and influence the rock to move out of my way.
You haven't bought enough drinks yet. I think that's how that stone speak goes.
I mean, I'm technically worse at this week than I was last time we played.
So
that's true. We're both a little worse, but no,
I mean, I don't.
I'm going to continue to study the switch and maybe try and move it some different ways. See how it moves to see if I can, determine that there's any sort of, and try and either use deduction or engineering to try to figure out how.
Mean, sure, I'll try and use strength to go through.
Okay.
So when I crit fail this, I'm going to be really angry, though, just for the record.
I believe that.
Oh, how about a 7? A 7 isn't a crit fail.
Mm-hmm. I think you should have probably used that cast of oil. Okay, so
where am I stuck now?
So basically, what you do is you like just kind of try to pull yourself forward. You don't actually succeed the first time, but what you notice is that it seems like as you kind of like brace yourself against the top of the thing and you pull yourself forward, you actually notice that you actually feel it move a little bit, like you have enough leverage on it that it pulls back. Now you pull yourself back though because you're obviously trying not to get stuck.
Oh, cool! So I can get smashed between it and the thing is what you're saying.
If you look at the room, there are ways to do that without getting smashed. So the slab is 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall, and about 2 feet deep. The room has 2 5-foot sides to this, where the slab, there's basically like it kind of goes to the side of it. And then, of course, the room back to the elevator is about 15 feet deep. The room itself is obviously over 10 feet tall.
I don't understand how the room changes anything.
I'm just saying that you're saying I can get crushed under it. I'm just saying is that if you chose to pull
it down, I meant between the piece that's here and here that I'm trying to go up between, I can get crushed here. Is what I mean. As in half.
You can try. And Jeff, you actually see the thing kind of like wobble a little bit there.
Like the switch wobble when he's moving the door?
No, the door.
Or I can just see the door wobble.
Yeah, because you can see like the amount of light coming increases.
Is there anything that I can kind of brace with? Is there any like broken statues, any loose debris, rocks, like bigger rocks on my side? Or is it all smooth?
This side is actually mean, as you may guess, it's not been invaded by as many
Sure.
people because of the difficulty it is to get in there. But what you do see is that the statues themselves, I mean, they are, they can be pulled down, especially if you wanted to take out some rope.
It is. I suppose I don't have to tell my master that I that I defaced.
You could also make an engineering roll as a different roll to see if you can figure out something. But I mean, I'm going to get back so I'm not stuck, right? So I can get back down. Yeah, I don't think I can squeeze through. That's what I tell you. I yell to you.
All right, let me see if I can do something on my side. Yes, I will try to pull over a statue using my rope.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not too heavy.
Basically, you lasso the statue, and you with a little bit of trying, you basically pull it down.
Okay. I'm going to try to engineer something, with some sort of lever so I can kind of help try to lift it manually.
Okay.
Like get something wedged under there, like, I don't know, an arm.
Sure. So basically what you're using is your leverage to try to get that moving and all those kind of things.
Try to give him an assist because we don't have to get it all the way up. We just have to get it enough.
Okay. So why don't you roll an engineering check for me and see, because unless you're an engineer and you want it, the schematics.
I'm going to engineer it. So I get a +1 for engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a 4.
Okay. Well, you try to find a way to make this work, and it doesn't seem like it's going to work. So pulling on the thing, you find it's just really too heavy, and you're not able to make it work from that.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough weight to try to lever the door open, even though I've got some components to work with.
Yeah. So I'm just like I said, the only thing that you do see is that, like I said, you see that it may have wobbled when Brent tried to.
So I suggest you either can continue looking around or you can come back. This is the only way we found to go anywhere, right?
Yeah, it was literally the only place to go once we came down the thing.
So there was this elevator that you saw here. There was obviously the face corridor that looked very intimidating and tried to blow you down.
So we had no way to move the face.
And then there was also that elevator that came up with a resounding crack. Remember the one that sounded like the earth was
the one that sounded like it was almost broken? One. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
The one
that is another elevator that goes down.
Interesting.
So Jeff, are you going to continue your foray into this little area then and see if you can see anything?
Yeah, let me look around to see if I can find anything else. I'm gonna try to explore a little bit. If you want to keep trying to, I'm trying to avoid like I said, the circle of the same check over and over and over again until we get a different result.
I'll keep looking around, see if I can see anything.
Okay.
So Jeff, as you proceed farther, like I said, you get to the hallway that splits, because there's effectively a stone pillar that's got like a column going straight up. To the right, you see what almost looks like a patch of brown, maybe almost like a moss or mold or something like that seems to be covering a space. Kind of protruding from the thing. So if you look at if you're looking at it, you got the two hallways. Off to the side and the farthest way, you can see this kind of patch of moss or mold that is growing off in that direction. To this way, you do not see anything like that.
Interesting.
But you do get the smell as you get closer to the kind of like the junction here. You almost get the smell of like a beef gravy.
Oh, good. Somebody made dinner for us. No, that's not what I'd say. Like a beef gravy. Does it appear to be coming down the mossy / moldy corridor or the non-mossy?
You can only smell it at this point where you see it. You cannot, or you can't see where that smell might be coming from.
I want to I want to
one thing I would
investigate
say is that,
the mossy stuff, the moldy stuff, to see if I can tell what it is.
okay. So taking a look at it, let's go ahead and have you roll a. I'm getting a lot of rolls out of you today, Jeff.
Apparently.
Yeah, I didn't realize I'd be doing so many rolls. Why don't we go ahead and roll a beast check?
Okay. An 11.
Okay. Yeah. So you have the convenience of you being Alistair's apprentice really helps when identifying monsters, because you've seen this type of mold. It's a very common danger for people that trek into ancient dungeons and everything like that. It appears as though it shares the characteristics of many a brown mold. Does that trigger anything for you guys, or do you need more description?
I need more description if I can get it.
Okay, so as I said, it's pretty much a like a patch of moldy, kind of lumpy. Doesn't look as though it's like moving or anything like that. However, the trademark that gave it away was the fact that near it, it looks like it's far colder, like the air is actually chillier the closer you get to it. And that's what really triggered that memory before you got too close, because you know that by getting too close to it, it will A, suck the heat out of you, potentially killing you, and or B, eat the flame that you carry.
Okay, so I step back.
You do know that even though they are made of cold, they are more susceptible to things of like ice and all that stuff. But definitely don't use fire.
Okay. Well, essentially all I have is a blade at this point, so
you also know not to use that.
I'm going to try to stay away from them. I'm going to check out that other hallway, I guess, then.
Okay. So as you go to the other side, let's see. Go to that. Okay, so you can see that there is basically a niche that's cut in, but it also looks like there's a pillar that has been forced down here. Here you see that there's a kind of a more mechanical lever that exists off to the side of it. And you can see kind of broken onto the sides as you look. You can see what look like pegs at the very closest to you. The pillar itself doesn't go all the way to the walls that for this notch. It's just to the, you can see like a gap in between it.
You broke up there for me, Mike.
Oh, sorry. You see what looks to be like a notch in the in this central column. However, there's another pillar that was put inside, but you can see that it's actually broken some like hangers or something like that. There is a lever next to it, and there is another room to the south of you.
Does the lever look like it's movable?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try, even though the mechanism looks like it might be damaged. I'm going to try to move the lever and see if anything happens.
Okay, so as you move the lever, effectively, what you notice that it starts like a dunk, 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 as the thing slowly raises up, revealing, unfortunately, that within this niche there is a crushed human skeleton that like looks like it was underneath the column or underneath the slab as it came down. It is very dead. It's very dead, and you can see some chainmail there. I guess I don't. Is that how this works?
It is now.
You're the game master.
Yeah, I don't mind if you want to give him some ideas. especially if it's ideas for how Distal works that we may be overlooking.
Because the door is holding up though, right?
Yeah, basically the slab kind of goes back up into the column that you can
So
see.
how high is how high? So it's all the way up.
Mhm.
I'm still
Yeah.
gonna pull the body or whatever it is like into the room with me.
Okay.
To just see if I can see any identifying marks or tell where they came from.
Okay. The body.
Yeah,
Uh,
whether it's an explorer, member of a militia, or
sure. So looking over the body, you see that the skeleton it looks as though it's been there long enough that any real remnants of the person that they were is now gone.
well, sure.
However,
We
what's
check
that?
them for ID and gold.
the
Not necessarily in that order.
So the idea that the body's pretty broken up. However, the chainmail itself looks like it's still in good condition. It looks like it's also made out of the silver instead of just your standard material. Outside of that, you can see that most of the other possessions that the explorer had were crushed along with the bones. You
Okay.
have a leather sack that looks like it's so old that as soon as you kind of pick it up, the leather kind of separates and everything like that. And that kind of sucks. But as you can see from the inside of that, you actually can see what look to be 3 broken statuettes. Not very large or anything like that. But you do also see that there are 3 that are intact. So the good news is that of the 6 statuettes that this person had acquired, 3 are broken and 3 are not. So the good news is Alliston would probably be happy to see both sets of them.
Yeah, no, I will I will put those in my pack. I will. Chainmail feels too bulky to put in my pack with all my other stuff in there.
Not if it's magic chainmail.
It still feels pretty heavy.
Yeah, he didn't issue us bags of holding, unfortunately.
It's not mithril. It's not the classic D&D mithril, apparently.
No, this is not the cool super metal. You guys are only level 1. I can't.
No, I folded up, so that if I ever reunite with my companion, I can, give it to him.
Okay. So Brent, just to check in with you, because Jeff is kind of taking the lead on this. Do you have anything else that you're trying to do? Or are you trying to pull the slab
I'm just looking
down?
around to see if anything's there. No, because last week I tried to push it and I couldn't. Last time I think I made a decent roll last time and it didn't move. So
Oh no, I found a completely empty set of chainmail.
it's just laying there on the floor.
Folded. See, it's still folded. Somebody must have
weird.
Somebody must have left it. Yeah. So now I have 2 choices of where to go, Mike.
Yeah, you can
either the door that I opened or that chamber to the south.
Well, no, so it's not a door. It's just it's like a little area. It looks like what you probably can tell after you kind of stop focusing on the dead adventurer is that this seems like they were pegs for holding things. You do see some crushed tools in this area as well. So it looks like it might have been a storage area. Now the room does continue to go on. And so you do see that it looks like you can circle the column in the center here. And then to the south, you do see that there is another opening to a room. Corpse mail.
It's just weird that it appears that there's a trap on a storage room. I will check out on the other side of the pillar to see if there's anything over there, but if not, then I'll go to the south, I guess.
Okay. So going to the south, you see that there is a wide chamber. Looks like it probably was the living quarters of some important figure. There is a large stone slab that suggests the shape of a bed, and that it rests kind of against the wall to your left. It's under a huge bas relief of a robust, long-nosed, bald humanoid figure with outstretched hands. The figure seems to be reminiscent of all the other kind of androgynous figures and everything like that. However, this one seems to be more detailed and more decorative, and a lot more love and effort went into it, because you can see the details in the wind tossed robe, and it almost looks like it's very godly in terms of like just its appearance by comparison to the other ones, which were just kind of like sitting proffering their hands. You do see a glyph that looks like a stylized arrow that is on the amulet of the neck of the figure. So kind of like when you looked at the sarcophagus, you saw that there was kind of an amulet or something like that. Um, and you see that there's a stylized glyph there that's different than the one that you saw up top. I believe that's different. And it looks like wardrobes and dressers that were carved from the walls seem to have been ransacked, possibly by people that were more fortunate than the person under the stone slab.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's good someone made it.
I guess I will, look to see if there's anything in those wardrobes and closets. Just I'm not expecting to see anything, but at this point, we're kind of scrambling.
Yeah. No, you basically kind of go through, you see that, anything that indicated that they could close has been broken. Areas to hang clothes or what might be clothes also broken. I mean, it's long been ransacked and destroyed.
And so there's no other exits out of this room?
No, just the way you came in.
I guess I'm going to go back and check the storage room and pray I don't spring the trap.
Oh, it's not, like I said, it's just a notch.
It's just a notch. Okay.
Yeah, it's like literally it goes in about 5 feet, and it looks like the slab came down, crushed a person, and you could see pegs on the walls that look like they might have been for hanging clothes or tools.
Then I guess I go back because I don't have anything to kill that slime or that mold. I don't have any extreme cold and any way of making extreme cold. So I'm going to go back and investigate the switch. What I believe is the switch.
The switch that you had looked at before?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. You're going to go ahead and give it one more try?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me... An 11.
Okay. And so that makes... So I love how it was like critical... You're boom, 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 boom. So in this case, I like poking at it and everything like that. In terms of degrees of success, you actually start tracing the symbols in a way that you hear a chunk. Jeff, you're not exactly sure what that chunk did, but Brent, you know something is changed, because you hear what sounds to be the decoupling of whatever lift system is on on that slab from the slab itself, and you can kind of see this slab shake. Where would you say you were investigating the most? Were you looking straight at the slab from like the base of it, so it could
like right under it when it falls down?
Yeah, exactly. No, I've probably already examined closer to it. So I've probably wandered back down the hallway to see if I could see anything that we missed down the other end of the hallway, away from the slab.
So like by the elevator or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so basically you turn back and you see that you kind of see it shudder a little bit, and you see that it kind of just falls forward, kind of smashing to the ground. You can tell where there was 2 guides that had basically lowered it into place, and the slab kind of cracks into 3 separate pieces.
Good job, whatever you did.
Well, I was just trying to open it, but apparently I I pushed the self-destruct on the bottom on the door.
Yeah, apparently you broke the moorings, which is
emergency release. Yeah,
which is good enough for our business. So
I don't know what good it does us to be in here. I've investigated. I haven't found anything of note other than a suit of chainmail that I pulled off the body of a dead adventurer. But it's kind of silvery. It looks like it might be of some value. Do you think you could put it in your pack?
Yeah, I'll put it in my pack.
And there is a hallway with a brown mold, but my recollection is that it requires extreme cold to damage them. You don't want to use fire or weapons because they won't do anything or will help it out.
Sounds
So I don't know that my recollection is they don't move very fast. Is that correct, Mike?
They don't move at all, really.
They don't
they
move at
tend to
all.
grow from a particular place, and they just tend to sustain themselves on local nutrients and heat. Meaning that helping them out in the form of like causing them to grow exponentially larger by using heat.
But I mean, does it go all the way across the hallway?
Basically what he could see is that there was another room to the north of where it was, so to the right away from the pillar, and it did extend into that by some amount.
Did it look okay? Okay, so let's do this. I have a cantrip, torchlight, that doesn't actually make flame. Oh no, it's a palm-sized flame. God damn it! No, but it's harmless. It's harmless, meaning it doesn't generate heat. It just generates light. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying is we can't move past it. It goes over and like spans the entire length of the hallway.
Well, it's basically
I didn't really investigate that.
Width of the hallway.
Not the entire width, but basically between the center pillar and the door opposite it. So I'm going to post that just so you guys see that, and just so you guys get an idea as to what it looks like.
That looks fairly impassable to me.
Yeah, we can't get over that.
Well, you could, but I would suggest the football approach to see if you got across. I don't know how you get back though.
Yeah, exactly.
Toss the tanglefoot over the thing and hope for the best.
Well, we don't have our ladder to lay over the ooze to climb over it, so
that's true. So yeah, so it does look as though that is a fairly impassable section based on your current understanding of how brown molds work.
Ageomonk says it shoots spores if you try and move by it. That would be gross. I guess we need to go back up and maybe try the broken elevator. I'm not excited by that, but I don't know how to get past the face. And we can't get past anything down here.
Yeah, we can go back up and try the broken elevator. I don't know how smart of an idea that is, but I don't know. You know engineering now. Maybe you can engineer it.
Yeah, I'll get another 4. I'll be like, seems safe to me. Safety inspection passed.
Looks clear.
That's actually kind of funny that because of the way the systems work and how your character slightly adjusts. Well, you know engineering. I don't think I've ever experienced that in a game before.
Well, I mean, he had arcane knowledge before. I may have suggested it before, but I'm definitely suggesting it now. But yeah, we can go up and try it. If there doesn't seem to be anything else in here, we don't seem to be able to think of a way to get past the.
Yeah, I mean, the only suggestions I might have is that, in terms of like coming back to this, you might have to see if your master Aliston has anything, or you can find anything.
Yeah, we might have to report something. Like we might be able to leave and come back with something that can, learn more about it and learn something that can damage it or protect us. Or
you mean henchmen that we can send back to do this for us?
Yeah, we'll have them come with a 10x10 ice block.
Yeah, you just need 15 of them.
Run into the room.
just keep on running.
Then the ice block,
guys.
Yeah, the ice block kills the mold, and we just wait for the ice block to melt. And I mean, the henchmen are dead because the mold killed them. Like it's not a good plan. It's not a ideal situation, especially for the guys carrying the ice. It's a good plan
for us. But anyways, yeah. So we go.
Alistan might know something, but yeah, let's go back up the elevator.
Yeah, we backtrack.
Okay. So, basically, you pretty much go back. You use the recall button for the elevator. Comes down to the part, with a shh, you guys step in, and obviously, and you go back up to the elevator to the sarcophagus room, and you are back, of course, in the yellow alcove, the hallway with the yellow lantern. Now, just as a reminder, you guys did you did go through and light all of the lanterns you had access to, meaning you had all the lanterns except the red lantern down in the or I guess what would be perceived as a red lantern because it matched that thing before.
Correct.
So there's just that one hallway that is unlit. However, the part that you were looking at going to was the green section. So you push
Yes.
the sarcophagus to the arrow to the green section.
Yes.
Okay. So as you push it to that section, obviously you hear that same rumble, like as it kind of like grinds up the plate opening and the elevator like coming open. One door opening, the other one obviously not.
All right. I'd say we jump in.
Yep, we both go in.
Okay. This is like a
Why start
villain-
making good decisions now?
The quickest way to end the campaign ever.
Maybe we'll see. So you hop in, and just like the other one, there seems to be like it has a faint blue glow like the other elevator did. But the one thing you notice as you get into the elevator, you notice that the actual like the inside of the elevator, there seems to be pitting that looks like it's happened either from a massive amount of erosion or something like that. You're not exactly sure. But by the time you really start staring at it and studying it, you notice that you reach the bottom and the one door kind of opens up into a hallway. So,
I'm sure we get out pretty quick.
okay. So, what's interesting about this little, because basically you're in like an area where there's an opening for the elevator. It widens to about 20 feet wide, and then it narrows into a hallway that goes straight ahead from you.
Right.
And you notice that there's basically a dozen of the boss. Is it bas relief? Boss relief?
Relief.
Bob
I
relief?
think the S is silent. I think it's French.
Sure. The bas
Boss
relief.
or boss.
Yeah, whatever.
We
My
know what
brain-
you're talking about.
My brain forgot how to
Just
say
because
the
I don't know
word.
how to pronounce it.
Now that there are other people watching, I forgot how to say words. So the bas relief figures, similar to the one on sarcophagus lid, but in this room they stare disapprovingly from the walls. Many of them sport crossed arms and stern expressions, and a few of the statues' heads look like they're missing, and some of them have huge chunks torn out of them. Others have a weird melted appearance as if they've been sprayed by something quite terrible. You see a large glyph that looks like a stylized arrow that points down the short corridor that leads to what appears to be a four-way intersection. Let's see. And the glyph that you see on the ground here looks the exact same as the glyph that you saw, Jeff, in the for
The
that
bedroom?
kind of the bedroom where that kind
On
of
the
divine
necklace?
looking
Yeah.
statue was. The same glyph that was on his necklace is on the ground here.
I think we should follow the arrow, but it looks like something horrible has happened in this room to the statues. Like, acid or laser beams or
Laser beams. Disintegration rays.
freaking laser beams.
Well, I mean, I guess we just stay wary and kind of try and keep an eye out for traps or pressure plates like before.
on.
Yeah, me either.
Uh-oh.
Is there a way to
Here,
relaunch the
let's
stream?
go back to the pre-roll real quick. And yeah, it looks like a loose connection. Okay, so Jeff, can you say a word here?
It looks like
yeah.
it started. It looks like it started again.
Oh, okay, it's good. Okay, so it sorted itself out.
It might. I suspect it's the internet website that we're using that is.
Okay. But thank you, Henry, for letting us know.
Because we could hear each
rambling.
other, but I'm sorry
Yeah.
if you guys couldn't hear it. What was the last thing you heard? Actually, I hate to say that. We can backtrack anything that we need to. But while we try to figure out where we were, so how do you guys approach the four-way intersection?
I think I would try and hold the lantern up. I mean, probably starting down the left hallway, and then just kind of clock, because we know where we came from, right behind us. So I'd probably go left, forward, right, Mike.
Okay, so so basically, as you approach that, you can kind of hear. Can you? We'll see. So to the left, you actually see that there looks to be a large room that opens up, and there are 8 slabs that you see kind of lined up. They almost look like they're they're arranged in 2 rows. They look like they might be like a bunking area or something like that. But you do see kind of what looks to be a long dead corpse, possibly a human. It's too hard for you to really see from there, and they lay sprawled out on one of the slabs. The room itself is very drab, and other than that, you really can't see anything of interest. The one thing that I would say is towards the end of your light, you can see that the walls taper in somewhat, and there seems to be a weird stage with a red clay statue that kind of like glimmers because you're really just too far to hit it with your lantern fully. And the statue obviously looks like a powerfully built individual or something like that. You need to get closer to make out further details. Okay. Going up the other way, you do see what looks to be a continuation of the hallway. To the sides, you can tell that there looks to be alcoves, and you can see some like some old excavation gear hanging from one of the pegs that you can kind of glimpse in the corner. Nothing really exciting, but you do see that it continues, and it looks like it probably continues down a set of stairs. And to the right, this is the one that is less interesting than the other ones. You see that this also kind of tapers in a similar fashion to the other room, kind of like almost mirrors the room with the beds and everything like that. You can see what probably is like a wide stone basin. It's backed by a 5 foot tall or so shelf. And you can kind of see what looks to be like a hardened orange paste that's spilling out over the lip. And it pretty much covers most of it. It's not like it doesn't look slimy or anything like that. It looks more solid, more solid than that. However, you can see lots of skittering insects around the paste, or the paste. Now, you know how when you're close to insects, they make a lot more sounds. These ones you can't really hear anything like that, but as soon as you bring the light into the room, you can see that kind of gets the room buzzing a little bit. And in the and kind of like as you look down the hallway, you can see what probably appears to be a hive spilling out from the closest corner into the room towards that sill with the paste in it.
Well, you want to check out the bug room or the bunk room, or just continue down the hallway and go down the stairs?
Let's try the bunk room.
Okay. We will turn and head down to the left.
Okay, so you're gonna go to the bunk room. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you kind of enter the room, you actually see, or not see, but you actually feel your body become like heavier. I'm going to have you make a roll for me. Bum, bum, bum. Oops. Let's go ahead and make a deny check, if you could, please. And so that means you're going to roll a d20 plus your intelligence or wisdom modifier.
Okay.
Both of us?
Yes, both of you, as you guys both entered the room.
Oh, we did great.
9 and I got a 5. Brent got a 9.
Yeah, we did great.
Okay. So basically you how do I say this?
Suck at everything.
Okay, 1 second. Conditions. So you actually become fatigued. So when you're fatigued, you do not have access to actions, cannot gain willpower dice, and are encumbered. So what you notice is as you get into the room, your shoulders like just involuntarily slump. Is just the weight of everything that you've experienced up until this point seems to kind of hit you all at once. Your eyelids kind of feel heavier than they've ever felt in their entire life. And as soon as you like enter into the room, you basically see what appears to be a let's see. You see a kind of a stag beetle. You guys know what a bombardier beetle looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a giant version of that, and it looks like it's drunk as much as an insect can look drunk. But it's kind of between the two slabs, just kind of like leaning up against one, kind of one, you know, leg kind of trying to scratch itself forward. But you know what it's like after you've had 2 bottles of tequila, like that's how it looks at this point.
And that's how we feel, basically.
That's how you feel.
So until I saw the beetle, I was going to say this looked like a good place to take a nap.
Well, the beetle seems to think it looks like a good place to take a nap because it seems to be struggling.
You think we should back out?
Yes, I definitely think we should probably back out.
Yeah, we try to back out.
Okay. So like
We
you basically kind of
leave the room.
you kind of like slowly backpedal your way out of the room. And as soon as you break the threshold, like it feels like your body just jolts awake, kind of to the prior level of alertness you were before entering into the room.
That was weird. What do you think caused that? Can I do? I mean, I don't want to do an Arcana check, but kind of want to know. That seems strange.
That did seem strange. You were the knowledgeable one, so I kind of wait to see if you have any suggestions.
Yeah. Do you think I've ever encountered anything like this before, Mike? Even in like studies?
I mean, you could, since Arcana is kind of like a general like understanding of magical intricacies, you could try to understand it.
16.
Okay. So as you kind of like study the magic in the air effectively, to kind of understand like what's happening here, and you kind of shine your light about it, you look at the beetle who might have been interested in you at one point, but doesn't seem to have a care in the world right now. You can tell that the magic itself seems to be emanating. Um, well, it kind of seems to be emanating from the area of the statue that's in the back there. The statue itself, it looks like it's a finely detailed marble representation of almost like a guardian figure, but you're not really sure like the mythology behind what that person could mean. But you seem to you're of the impression that regardless of the mythological background of it, it seems to be some sort of guardian of rest in here, and it's causing there to be an intense amount of fatigue or sleep placed in the area.
I relay that. As long as that statue's in there, I don't think we can explore that room. Like, we might be able to go in there and lay down and potentially not wake up, but
Well, that seems like an unoptimal idea.
yeah, maybe we wake up refreshed.
So,
in the afterlife.
so how long you guys are just kind of like discussing what you're seeing there?
Yeah, we're discussing which
Just
and
a
which way,
couple of minutes. Yeah, then
and which way we need to go.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like something that we are going to try to explore.
Okay.
To me,
correct. So I guess
we'll note it, and if Alistan has heard of something like this, I'll try to make a quick note as to like what the statue looks like.
I'm not super enthusiastic. I'm not super enthusiastic to go into the bug room either. So
how many torches do you have?
Yeah, how many torches do we have left?
Oh, how many torches do you get in this version? Peck.
None. We have none left.
So as an action, you have you do have a lantern attached to the pack, and it's doused at will. It doesn't really say how long the lantern lasts or how much fuel you have. So technically, you both have lanterns at this point, unless you. Oh, actually, only one of you has a lantern, and you would have had to have had torches. So
right.
Yeah, I have the lantern.
Yeah. So
at the moment,
do not worry about that just yet. You have enough torches for at least today.
Oh, goody.
And if anything, you can always cast torchlight, so you can.
Yeah, I can cast torchlight. It lasts an hour, but
that's true.
I was wondering about throwing the torch onto the bugs and the orange paste.
Well, I mean, you have torchlight, so we could try it. What do you think?
Yeah, I try and set fire to the bugs to drive the bugs out, kind of thing.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll toss a torch into the room and see what happens.
Okay. So all right. So basically you guys are standing outside the room. You take a moment and you toss a full torch into the room, or are you tossing one of Jeff's
one of the torches?
One of the real torches, yeah.
Okay, so you just huck it into the room, and you're trying to see what happens to the.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that the torchlight spell, which it said was harmless, will set anything on fire, because that's what the goal is.
Okay, sure. So basically, like you throw the torch into the room, and it seems like as soon as it clatters into the room itself. You notice that it's not it's not a good thing. So the torch itself seems, as it's sitting there, it seems to have at least agitated what looks to be a fairly large hive of I would say that they look like they're kind of a bluish sheened beetle, and so the bluish sheen kind of reflects as they kind of start swarming towards the fire, obviously staying, towards the wooden end of the fire. But because there's enough bugs, it does seem as though eventually it does get doused. The one thing that you do notice is that towards the fountain, you see what looks to be like another large bombardier beetle that kind of moves but doesn't actually engage with the torch. And it's not as big as the one that's sleeping behind you, but it is fairly large.
Yeah, are beetles a attack on sight kind of enemy? You're in front, Brent. Do you know what you want to do?
I'm thinking.
If you give it enough time, are you like letting them kind of like
does it look like they're coming towards us, or
well, yeah, I mean, we're just kind of observing what they're doing
after we tried to set them on fire?
Yeah. So what you see is that after a moment that, eventually the torch does go out, and you can see that the wood from the torch, when you shine your lantern on it, it does look as though the torch itself is pretty much melted, not from fire.
Hey, we found out what damaged the statues.
Yeah, there's basically a pool of acid in there.
Mm. And you can kind of see the sizzling smoke from the wood.
And the bugs are okay with the acid?
Yeah.
I think they generate it.
All right, we're not going in there either. Let's go down the stairs.
Yeah, is there a door we can shut on the way back? Maybe hammer a spike in so that it can't be opened again?
No. It doesn't look that way. But you do know that, with these types of swarms and everything like that, typically a large enough fire would do quite a bit of damage to them, or some sort of AoE effect, something like that.
I need to step away for a sec. I'll be right back. So
okay,
think on that.
I'll think on that. Yeah. I don't think we have enough stuff to try to create a large fire. So I think our plan is to definitely try to head down the stairs.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that he'll agree with that, but I don't want to, make a full party decision when he's stepped away just for a moment.
Yeah. So, oh man.
Huh.
You could go fight those beetles.
Fight the acid shooting beetles. There would have to be a compelling reason that is escaping me up till now.
It's just funny because I've actually statted them both out in DC 20 and Distal, so I'm curious.
Oh yeah, no, it would be a battle. We'd probably die.
I don't know. You got really lucky with that lightning link thing. That's pretty awesome.
I know, but I don't. I only have so many, uses of spells. So
that's true.
It's not like some of the other systems, and then I'm just attacking with a sickle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we don't have any fire bombs or any fireball spells. So
yeah, we also don't have any, alien moonshine. So
I would say, yeah, we're gonna go try downstairs, right?
What's it called, Mike? The Jugaboom? We can't make any Jugabooms.
You can't make any Jugabooms.
Yeah.
So what you see here, so instead of going into that room, which, after you see the bugs kind of like stop, they kind of become less aggressive, and you can tell that they've gone to their feeding of the nutrient slurry, because that seems to be more what they were defending, is that they were defending the food source that seems to be coming out of that paste. You're not sure if that's the beetles making food like a honey, or if it's something else. But kind of kind of avoiding that section for now and going towards the area where you saw the tools, kind of like the area where there's some tool alcoves or something like that.
Yeah,
You
so
notice
avoiding the gross bugonomics.
Yeah, there's bugs on either side there. I mean, you're really your choice.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
So
ecosystem.
you can go to the end, and you actually see a stairway that seems to head down. Now the weird part about this is that the stairs actually go down until you can see nothing but like a placid amount of like a lake of water. Now of course the room itself, so it's like, how do I say it, like the hallway stairs, then you basically see water going in to that point.
I guess we go down to investigate, try and see if the water's deep,
or acid.
No,
or possibly acid.
So basically the water, upon inspecting it, the water is simply that water. It is fairly dark, and you don't see any light sources under there. However, feeling the water, obviously it's cold, and because it's dark, it's really hard to see. Now you would have to, if you wanted to go for a swim, you could try to see as far as you could go, but that's kind of up to you.
Yeah, that sounds like the option that we're gonna take. Let's go for a swim in this place that's obviously super dangerous. This place that's been filled with nothing but acid and eyeball stranglers. I say, I bet it's cold. As the first thing I say, and I ask you what Alistair would want us to do at this point. Should we go back to town and try and get research?
Honestly, at this point, we don't. The ways that we found, it doesn't seem like we can pass them, go through them. I think we have to go back to town.
Okay.
I think we need to take the notes and the things that I've collected and the information and go back and see Alistan. It doesn't. I don't see how we can move forward. Like we might be able to miss the windy hallway. We might be able to miss the not tripwire, but pressure plate or whatever I stepped on that triggered the wind. And try and get up to the door. But given the amount of luck we've had trying to make these mechanisms work, where they're things that we're not used to doing, I don't know how that's going to be.
I agree.
So a trip back to town.
Well, out of the ruins first.
An abundance of caution. I like it. Okay, so so you call down the elevator to go back up to the
the sarcophagus room.
Yeah, the shitty elevator.
Assuming there's not beetles all over it shooting acid onto everything.
The shitty elevator that now, with how you said it, I am worried isn't going to work.
So you get into the elevator, closes, rattles as it goes up to the top, and one door opens.
We plummet to our doom.
Brent steps off first. You feel it shake. Jeff steps off at second, and Jeff, you're not sure why, but the instant you kind of stepped off it, you heard this clunk. It literally just dropped, crashing down at the base of the shaft. That being said, you know how that kind of cacophony of sound when the insects were clattering over the torch?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of hear something similar now echoing through the shaft. And I think that's where we can stop this week.
Cool. We discovered another cliffhanger.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more insects down there than we thought there were.
What is the term? This place will be crawling by the time we get back?
Yeah.
Take that.
Okay.
So that's our cliffhanger for this week. I think a good pace session. I think you guys got some good stuff going.
You have discovered a cliffhanger.
I'll see if I can keep on finding these cliffhangers for you guys each week. Considering we're not doing like a 4-hour session or something like that. Obviously,
Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah, we start late enough that 4 hours.
4 hours of play
Thanks.
would be pretty intense.
Mm.
Thanks, Friendly Henry. Yes, there we go. Friendly Henry. Oh, I can't read.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So if anybody obviously see some major errors that we had while playing the game, or have any suggestions on how some of these mechanics can work, obviously let us know. We're still familiarizing ourselves with
as I always say, question, comments, concerns.
Yeah, we usually try to wait a couple of minutes here at the end in case somebody had feedback or questions. You don't have to, but if you do, we'll be here for a couple of minutes. If not, we'll fill it with some rambling banter.
We're good at that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a little bit of a feel. I know that I've read the quick start rules on Distal, and but playing the character, trying to understand the system a little bit, it's a little bit different.
It's definitely quite a bit different. It definitely isn't. It's definitely not as heroic. Like, there were things that I would have done last week that I definitely got the feeling I shouldn't do this week.
Yeah, I think with the modifiers and the like range that you're working with, definitely you're pretty much using your dice straight up in a lot of cases, especially with the difficulty curve, which is fine. I mean, that's 100% okay. I think if you had a chance for
it's a little jarring.
Yeah, that's more what I'm saying. Is it's a little bit of, I could do this. I could do this before, but I probably shouldn't do this now. That's more what I mean.
Right. No,
Do you think you guys would have gone in guns a-blazing with the Beatles if you would have been using DC 20?
That wasn't the word that I would use. No. But I probably would have. Being able to use athletics to squeeze through the thing, I probably would have done that sooner. That's the biggest thing I would say would be different for me in this section.
Some of the checks. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to role play it a little bit more. They're different games, and so I'm not trying to compare them at all. It's just, as a player, there's
a different feel.
There's a bit of a learning curve.
Did you guys feel more like Frodo and Samwise as you were going into this dungeon, as opposed to like?
No, a little bit.
In his turret?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I definitely felt more vulnerable than last time.
I still felt heroic when I got the good roll and killed the lurking strangler. That was because I don't know how that fight would have gone. It may not have gone well for me.
It's interesting. I mean, I attempted to follow the kind of behavior rules, and since I don't have another one queued up, and I can always make changes to it. I do like the idea of behaviors, or the idea that monsters have a set like number of things that they do. Now, I think in Dragonbane, what you guys will find is that monsters tend to just automatically hit, and they do their thing to you. So monsters in Dragonbane are very dangerous. But I think in this one, they don't, I don't think I saw any monsters that just hit automatically. Now, there were some things that they triggered, like with their actions versus their techniques, that caused certain reactions. But I thought having an eye beam that just basically caused you to go unconscious, like if you failed, it was like a good way to kill a character right out of the gate. So I tried to add some element of randomness to it.
Yeah, no, I like the behaviors. I do. I think I called that out when we talked about Distal. That I'm going to learn from encountering enemies multiple times, kind of how they act, and hopefully I can then, being in combat with them, go smoother the more you learn and the more you understand, like, watch out, they've got this ability.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. And I think that's interesting, that like, as you build your world, and especially as like a homebrew kind of thing, is that you can kind of create your bestiary that people run into, and actually spend the time and effort to create interesting monsters that if they encounter on a frequent basis, you can actually become better at fighting that monster. And I don't think that's necessarily as rewarded in like D&D, for example, because like a goblin is just a goblin with a sword. Sometimes you kind of get people that have tactics and stuff that they bring into it.
Well, yeah, I mean it is, but it's usually more rewarded in like a meta sense than a like role playing sense.
Yeah,
like in a meta sense, you learn who and what they are versus like actually how you the player learns how to fight them, not necessarily the character.
Yeah. And I think it's always hard too, because there's a certain level of like D&D is discovered.
Yeah, have a good night, Agile Monk. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a certain amount of D&D that is discovered.
Yeah, there is. It's just a different way of handling the creatures that you wind up getting into, engagements with. But I'm that's one of the things that I'm interested in exploring, like as we play or trying to understand. And we'll just have to see how the development of Distal goes, right?
Yeah.
Because it is just in an alpha state, so there's more information to come, and there'll be refinements and changes and updates. And but I'm liking playing it. I just right at first it took me a little bit to adjust. Going from one system to another, but.
What we're doing is kind of unusual. I don't think
it is. Yeah, it's weird.
Be like this week you're a dwarf who's an indomitable, stalwart defender of his companions, and this week you are definitely far less stalwart.
This week you have an engineering skill.
Exactly. No, and that was a challenge that we decided to take on. It's a little different, but we're trying to give exposure to several different, games that kind of hit that high fantasy kind of thing. And because everybody wants a little bit something different from the games that they play.
Yeah.
And we're really, if we're being honest, we're focusing on D&D type alternatives, right?
Yeah. Currently.
Yeah, currently. So we're giving these things a check out and trying to shake them down and see how they run. And this isn't like a perfect playthrough, but it's giving us an idea of I can feel the difference. And so that was an enjoyable session. It just had to go about it a little differently.
It just took a little adjustment.
Which
happens. It would happen. It would happen if we were playing, if we weren't even doing if we weren't even doing the Age of Worms thing, and we just switched games. Like it would be basically we'd have the same sort of like learning curve.
Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve because this is our first time playing Distal.
Yeah,
we have talked about it. We sat down and we talked with the creator of the game, and now we're trying to play the game and see what it's like.
So we'll see if the Alpha 6 comes out and lets us see if there's any major changes to how we should approach some things.
That's true.
Which is there. So I think it's good.
Right. Yeah. I don't see any questions in chat.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But I had fun.
Yeah. Well, and as long as we can tell cool stories, I think we're in a good spot. So
that's the important part, right?
That is the important part.
Yep. Even if they're modular stories from 2005 or 4 or whatever.
Really? I actually thought it was older than that.
No.
Friendly Henry asked, is it a new system for next session, or how does this format work?
I think we'll probably do this twice, 2 sessions of this, and then we'll probably go back to DC20 for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. The goal here is that because Rel has his actual backer kit up and running and stuff like that, we thought we would try to have a playthrough with the game, while the backer kit was going and everything like that, and then hopefully. That coincides, I think, is going to come really close to DC20, so we're going to switch over to that again. Now, we are looking for other games that are in this space, so if you guys have any suggestions that you want to hit us with in terms of other D&D high fantasy adjacent games that either don't get enough love or you think
are new,
get more or new or something like that.
New, yeah. We've talked about Tales of the Valiant, maybe not.
Because
Tales of the Valiant and Vagabond.
Yeah, we had looked at Vagabond a little bit.
We talked about Vagabond.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have to double check to see what the rules are available there. But like Tales of the Valiant is just like they're literally just releasing this stuff.
Yeah, they're literally just launching right now, so that would be something down the road a little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's a meaty book, just so you know. Like,
yes, no, it is.
Isn't it like 500 pages or something like that? 600 pages.
Yeah,
Something like that? Yeah.
it's meaty. I'm not, and I guess I'll be curious to see what it how much it varies, because we actually looked at the quick start rules back a million billion years ago, and
when they first launched as Project Black Flag,
when they were still Black Flag, yeah,
and it felt like there was some like minor changes to your 5e experience, but it really felt so close that I mean, I wasn't necessarily motivated till it came out to really take
until I haven't had a chance to look. I know that it just launched, but I mean, to answer Henry's question, I think we try to get a feel for the game. So 2-3 sessions, depending, until we get to a kind of stopping point, because right now there are quite a few of these games and we are trying to show some exposure. And if people want to see us play certain systems or go back to a system or, no more, we're open to doing something like that. We also may press pause after a certain amount of time on the Age of Worms thing, and because I know we had some other games that we had talked about doing. I had even talked about running a game, which I haven't done in a very long time.
Yeah, and we might do something like the other thing we might do is rotate games, where we'll do the Age of Worm one every other week,
right?
And then I'll run a game or something, or Jeff will run a game every off week, just so Mike doesn't burn out on switching systems.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of work involved because of the way we chose to do this, and Mike having to adapt things to the Age of Worms campaign and pull stuff in, and Brent and I respect that. Like,
I mean, I've only had to convert it twice so far. So,
and the other thing, and one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we do as a show is we really want to only talk about games that we play. So we're going to try and play these games so we can give you good feedback.
But
okay, that's did you guys see Henry's comment? He had just a generic feedback. Maybe try to squeeze in things that make the different systems unique into the sessions. So, like, some of the things that stand out. I know that we're playing Age of Worms, Mike, but I think it's good feedback to try to tuck away and see if that is something that is workable.
Yeah. I think one of the things.
Oh, go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
I think one of the things for Distal that, if you were really interested in the system, I think one of the things for Distal that really stands out is the character creation, which we did a show on that was released on Friday. And the character creation in Distal is really great, and that's one of the parts that I think differentiates it.
And I'm definitely trying to kill them to get some death marks. I just failed miserably with my Lurking Strangler. So just so you know, I mean, I was really seeing if I could push the envelope and start getting some death marks on there.
Oh, I forgot. I could have got stuck in the wall and just gotten death marks. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you could have gotten death marks, and then you could have just hulked out. You wouldn't have had any other skills left, but you did.
So Friendly Henry, that is good advice, and we will try to see if we can insert that in there. We're definitely going to do our best, and obviously as much as we can, while keeping it cohesive. So
yeah, and some of the games might come across like that because they are more straightforward. Like if we do Tales of the Valiant, it's pretty similar to D&D's, so the differences might not be brutally apparent right off the bat. So that's the other thing. Like DC-20, like it had some very obvious differences in its mechanics like right away, which was really cool. This has a little bit more nuance than some other games might be too, but the background and character creation of Distal is very different and very cool. So
yep. And also things like monster behaviors and stuff like that, so we can kind of, I think if I didn't do a good enough job explaining the behaviors and how monsters are different when you fight them, let me know. I'll adjust how I present that going forward. So
awesome. I think that was a decent session, and I look forward to seeing what we do next week with our cliffhanger.
Yeah, so cliffhanger: the sound of rumbling insects, of an elevator that is dropped back into the deeps, and you guys heading back to town. If you survive.
We're just gonna tell Alistair that we just melted the whole crypt with bugs. Hey, I wouldn't go. Hey, my advice is don't go there. That's what we would say.
That's your advice.
Not worth your time.
Don't go back.
There's nothing to learn there. It's good.
It's whispering for a reason.
It's whispering. Stay away.
It's good.
So, all right. Well, I think that was a good session. Friendly, thank you for chilling with us and asking some
thank
questions.
you for hanging
out. We appreciate it. Obviously, everybody else, Agile Monk, all those other people that were in there. But if you have any questions, hit us up in the comments or just send us a note. Jeff can tell you how to find us outside of YouTube, right?
Yeah, outside of YouTube, we are on Facebook, Threads, and Twitter. You can find us by searching for @Rollwise. You can also email us, rollwiseguys@gmail.com.
And as always, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We said that already, but we'll say it again because we value you guys so much. Roll well, roll wise, and be safe out there, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.